Well, one of the types of personal injury cases that we handle, and we do a lot of that here at our office, is construction site accidents. And I'm particularly well suited to handle those cases because even though nowadays I do a lot of personal injury litigation, meaning what you do after a lawsuit is filed, I used to regularly handle a great many workers' compensation cases, and there is a lot of interplay between personal injury cases and whether you can sue a contractor on a job site or even a party that you consider to be your employer and workers' compensation. So just to give you some examples of how complicated these cases can be when it comes to whether a party, a contractor out on a job site can be shielded from you being able to recover for your injuries from them through a personal injury claim is whether they're a general contractor, whether they own the premises. So for instance, a lot of times, even though a general contractor, you would never consider them your employer. Maybe you've never even met these folks because you work for someone else that was contracted to do some work out on a job site, electrical work, floors, whatever it be. That general contractor who may have been negligent in some way could be shielded from you being able to sue them, and they can be shielded by the workers' compensation laws of the state, even though they're not responsible for paying you any workers' compensation benefits. They are what is known as a statutory employer. However, there are exceptions to them being able to gain that statutory employer status, which I'm actually well versed in from my years of handling workers' compensation claims. And because I used to handle a large number of workers' comp claims involving seriously injured accident victims before I really started specializing in personal injury, negligence, and liability cases, I'm able to form some strategies now based on my insight into that and how I think a particular party is going to react if, say, a workers' comp claim is filed against them. And I have a good idea of what to do in these situations that a lot of other personal injury attorneys out there, they don't really understand the strategy because they haven't had the benefit of having previously been a workers' comp lawyer. You know, other things I see sometimes are workers' comp lawyers that they don't see the personal injury liability case and that it may be worth a lot more to you, the victim, than the workers' comp claim. A lot of times it is really not clear, even though you may consider somebody that you're working for to be an employer. There may be good arguments that they are not actually your employer under the law. But what happens more often is that somebody that you work for gives you 1099 status, and because they don't want to pay benefits and they don't want to carry workers' compensation insurance, even though they probably should, they try to deny that they are your employer when you try to collect workers' comp benefits. But one thing I've learned is sometimes that's a good thing. Let them deny it, because then I have an admission there. I can turn around and bring that as a personal injury case, and it may be one of the reasons why they were truly denied is they don't have workers' comp insurance, but maybe they have liability insurance because they weren't going to be allowed to work out on that job site unless they had it. Plus, it tends to be less expensive for them than workers' comp insurance. So, hey, let them deny that you're an employee, and we'll bring it as a personal injury case and get you even more than you would have been able to collect in workers' comp benefits. Sometimes you can get the best of both worlds. You collect workers' comp benefits from a direct employer, but there's been a third party that is not your employer that has been responsible for injuring you through their negligence, and you could collect workers' comp benefits and pursue the personal injury cases. This is one of the few firms you're going to find in the state of Georgia that will be able to handle both a workers' comp claim well and the personal injury case and keep it all under one roof here. There's just a very few number of firms that are really able to handle both types of cases and see things as well as we do and formulate the strategies that we do. When you're hurt on a construction site, just based on what I've told you, hopefully begin to understand here that these can be complicated situations. Call us and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.